أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم وقال الشيطان لما قضي الأمر إن الله وعدكم وعد الحق ووعدتكم فأخلفتكم وما كان لي عليكم من سلطان إلا أن دعوتكم فاستجبتم لي فلا تلوموني ولوموا أنفسكم ما أنا بمصرخكم وما أنتم بمصرخي إني كفرت بما أشركتمون من قبل إن الظالمين لهم عذاب أليم صدق الله العظيم. Dear respected listeners, it's the blessing of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that Allah ta'ala has allowed us the opportunity to sit for a short while and try to understand the words of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is not only a duty, it's not only a right of the Quran Majid, this should be the passion of every Muslim person. When somebody has a connection with someone and they receive a letter from that person, and is someone they value or there's some important information that they are expecting, and they receive that in the form of some writing, then until that person does not make himself aware of the contents of that letter, the mind and heart is not at peace. If somebody's hands are full, he's painting or doing something else, he'll quickly finish that, whatever he's doing, and he'll open the letter and read what's inside. If the letter is in some language that that person does not understand, then until they get the letter translated and understood, that person's mind is not at rest. This Quran Majid is a message of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala direct to the human being. And it should be the passion of every Muslim person that what is Allah tabarak wa ta'ala saying to me? What his correspondence with me, what is that information in that letter, in that book, what is that information? This should be the passion of every single person. And we sometimes as Muslims don't always see it that way. In fact, once there was a new Muslim, he was Muslim for quite a while, but the Muslim revert, who I met in Jamaat, some youngsters he brought to the masjid, and he was giving them dawah, and they were constantly asking him, how did you become Muslim? Anyway, he didn't reply to them, he turned his dawah. But afterwards, he was telling me, he said, I was that close to committing suicide. Because I tried Buddhism, I tried Hinduism, and other religions, Christianity, and I tried them, but there was no clear answers. And when I read the Quran Majid, when I read Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim, it hit me that this is the Lord talking directly to me. So although because we read regularly, we don't see it that way, but this is an address to us directly. And this is Allah Ta'ala, He is talking to us. So it should be the passion of every Muslim to know what's in that book. If a person understands, then directly. If a person does not understand, then get it understood. And understanding the Quran is because it's a miracle, and a lot of information sometimes comes in very few words, therefore it does need explaining. And that was the first thing. Secondly, whoever, if it's a student of Deen like me or Imam Sahib, anybody, how when we go over the Quran Majid, it's normal practice. We will refer to a few tafsirs and what the ulama have written, and then process the information in the head, set it out in our own particular way, and what do we need to say to the audience for this relevant time, what's relevant to the time and place, what's not relevant, and then we convey that message. So whatever we say, it will be found in sources of old. Why I'm saying this is a trend, because people, they like new information, and they go to multiple sources, and those sources sometimes are very presentable, but the information level there is sometimes not as safe. So it seems more interesting, and generally those things that are more off the mark are generally more appealing, because they're made to be interesting. The haq is the haq, whether you like it or not, whether it appeals or not. The truth is the truth. But those things that are, see, you get organic things, organic fruits, organic foods, they're not very flashy. They look more dull. They might not taste as nice, but what they give you in terms of what their purpose of the foods is, the nutrients, they give you the right thing. And the flashy food made for marketing purposes might seem more shiny, might seem more fresh, might seem more tasty, but really it does not give you what's intended for as it should. So likewise, that information that is genuine, that is from a true source, a reliable source, doesn't always be that flashy. So, and other like internet sources, that's what I'm referring to, sometimes more flashy, but they're not what a person needs. So, yeah, so but this idea of wanting new information, a new thing, this is not in line with how Deen works. Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, he brought Deen 14, 15 centuries ago, and that is what Deen is. Obviously, as times change, you have to adjust certain things, because Deen is applicable in all times. So there will be slight adjustments, but Deen is that Deen. New things are not really what Deen is about. Otherwise, it becomes so big, it would be not manageable. You know, we read a book in our Dars Nizami, in Arabic literature, one of the earlier books written by Maulana Azali Rahmatullahi alayhi, and in there's a story. There was one Khalifa who had some issues with Uthman Raziyallahu anhu. Because we know that the Khilafat Rashida, then the Umayyi Khilafah, and then the Abbasi Khilafah. So the later Khulafa had certain issues with one of the Khalifa. So he had certain issues with Uthman Raziyallahu anhu, that he had certain questions on him. I can't remember all the questions, but one thing, the Khalifa asked this alim, the one issue I have with him is when Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, he used to give the khutbah of Jummah, he used to stand on the first step. When Abu Bakr Radhiyallahu anhu came, then out of respect, he didn't stand on the first step, he stood on the second step. When Umar Radhiyallahu anhu's turn came, then he did not go on the second step, he out of respect went on the third step. When Uthman Radhiyallahu anhu, his time came, he went straight onto the first step. Now why do you do this for? So this alim, he said to the Khalifa that you should thank him that he did that. Otherwise, today, if he didn't do that, we would have been listening to your Jummah khutbah, you standing inside the well. So you go further down. So likewise, Deen is what Deen is, and it does not always grow. So this attitude of all the information contained in here is all information that is correct information, and that is a fact of life. All what's inside here, but it's the same thing that's continued all those years. So whether flashy or not flashy, presentable or not presentable, what's inside here and has been explained by the commentators before. Deen is not invented today. When Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam left the dunya, he left the Sahaba, and what they presented to the world, to their students, and what they carried on, it continues till today. There's not been any time in history where Deen vanished and had to be reinvented. So anything that could new would automatically be wrong. is always continuing. So I was thinking, because Imam Sahib, when he instructed me to do the dars, because normally what happens, as I said, whoever does the dars will, what's in the books, he's going to say the same thing. Yeah, what he picks out and what he leaves out, that can slightly vary. So that's why when that person who's doing dars normally, when they continue, they have a plan in mind, what I've said before, what I need to say next, and how it connects. So that they have that. So when somebody interjects, they obviously won't follow that pattern. So I was thinking, normally what I do, what I prefer is Surah Fatiha or the last 10 Surah. Because as I said, this is the message of Allah Ta'ala. Surah Fatiha is a request from Allah Ta'ala. And the Quran Majid remainder is a reply to that request. So understanding the Quran Majid is also important, but at least we understand our request. What are we asking Allah Ta'ala? At least when we're conversing with Him, because namaz is a conversation, a two-way conversation between Allah Ta'ala and the person. So when we're conversing with Allah Ta'ala, we give our request in the form of Surah Fatiha, and in our own namaz, or if the Imam presents it on our behalf, we say Ameen and endorse it. And then when he starts after that the surah, then he's talking on behalf of Allah Ta'ala now, and he's giving the reply to that request. So normally I would do Surah Fatiha or one of the last 10 surahs, which are, because they're regularly read in our salah. But because Ramadan has just gone by, and the shayateen were, or at least the bigger shayateen were all locked up. And now that the moon of Shawwal has come, they have been released. So it was suitable that for us to know our enemy, who our enemy is. And he was for a time restrained. Now that restraint has been opened up, and we need to be aware of our enemy. We do not want to be in a position where he takes from us what should matter to us most. And right from the time of Adam alayhi salam, he's never given in, and he managed. You see, Adam alayhi salam was a Nabi, and a Nabi's intellect and understanding, all these things are much more than a not normal person, even a very pious person, a very clever person. The Anbiya, they are much above that level also. But he managed also to utilize their taqwa, and because when you trick somebody, you trick them in the field that they're in, use that as a pretext and somehow manipulate that and get them out. Although it was all a wisdom of Allah, but he managed over many years. We read the story in 5 minutes that he did this, but it wasn't a 5-minute job. It was a many years job. So slowly you build your confidence, you build your connections, and slowly, and then you get to know, and then you slip in a few comments, and like this, mind building. And one day he managed to make them do something which made them come to the dunya. So he's been from that time also. So he's quite clever, and since then he's picked up many more tricks, thousands of years experience. So we need to know our enemy. Now why the ayat cited over here, I was going to start from before, but the ayat cited over here, these are discussing the situation on the day of Qiyamah and in Jahannam. And the first discussion is between the people. It's between the people. There's certain people who are ringleaders. They are those who have the control and have the means and have the influence, and their influence of the people. And there are others that follow. So these people now who have been leaders and they have been on the wrong path, and those followers behind them who have gone, because when somebody has authority and somebody has a high post and they've got positions, then some people, they try to get friendly with them and even obey their wrong commands. And so we see that in the dunya all the time. But the day of Qiyamah, a time is going to come. Allah Ta'ala says, وَبَرَزُوا أَعُوذُ بِاللَّهِ مِنَ الشَّيْطَانِ الرَّجِيمِ وَبَرَزُوا لِلَّهِ جَمِيعًا. They will all be open in front of Allah Ta'ala, whether pious or non-pious. And the word buruz, to in the sight of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, nothing is hidden. Nothing is hidden. Even here, what we do, what our hearts desire, what we do behind closed doors, what anybody does, nothing is hidden. But because of the actions of these people, the way they behave, as though Allah Ta'ala is not seeing them. When a person is aware that Allah is seeing me, then obviously he can't do these things. But their whole actions were on because of the forgetfulness or non-belief in the all-knowing of Allah Ta'ala. So on that day, even they will see that everything in front of Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala is open. وَبَرَزُوا لِلَّهِ جَمِيعًا فَقَالَ الضُّعَفَاءُ لِلَّذِينَ اسْتَكْبَرُوا. Those people who are weak, the followers, will say to those people who were in the senior positions, إِنَّا كُنَّا لَكُمْ تَبَعًا. We followed you. We followed you. فَهَلْ أَنْتُمْ مُغْنُونَ عَنَّا مِنْ عَذَابِ اللَّهِ مِنْ شَيْءٍ. So now, is it possible for you to relieve us of the punishment of Allah Ta'ala min shay, anything? If you can, the full punishment, if not full punishment, at least something, please get us some sort of relief. But the reply will be, قَالُوا لَوْ هَدَانَ اللَّهُ لَهَدَيْنَاكُمْ. So if Allah Ta'ala guided us, guide is meaning, either if they are saying, Allah Ta'ala guided us in this dunya, then we would have guided you. If we had received the right message in this dunya, then we would have also given you the right message, which is obviously a lie on their behalf because they got the right message. So, or if they mean, لَوْ هَدَانَ اللَّهُ, if Allah guides us, if He gives us a way out over here, how do we relieve ourselves? If He gives us that relief, first of all, we relieve ourselves, and then we'll tell you also. But as things stand now, سَوَاءٌ عَلَيْنَا, it's equal on us, أَجَزِعْنَا أَمْ صَبَرْنَا, whether we are impatient or whether we act patiently. And it comes in the hadith, the people of Jahannam, they will, because they will try all methods, anything to the situation that we are in, somehow get out of the situation. So they'll make a mashura, they'll discuss between themselves. Those people who are in paradise, they are in paradise because of their beseeching to Allah Ta'ala, which time is available now to us. When we pray to Allah Ta'ala, we cry to Allah Ta'ala, Allah listens. Listen to our dua. They will say that these people, they got there because of that beseeching. So we need to do the same thing. So they'll try that out first for a long time. It's not going to work. It's the wrong place. Then they sometime will have another mashura between themselves. Look, these people go to paradise because of their patience. Let's be patient. And for a long time they'll be patient, they'll keep quiet. But nothing's going to work, because where that worked is the dunya. Those things were for a moment, whether he is in a situation where he's patient or he puts his grievances to Allah. All these things Allah listens to, Allah He values. But in the hereafter, in Jahannam especially, the time is too late. So now they say, now, the situation is now, أَجَزِعْنَا أَمْ صَبَرْنَا. We can be impatient, or we can be patient. But both these things are no avail. Maulana, there's no way out now. Now we are stuck. So this will be the conversation between those people who were gang leaders, who were in the forefront, who guide others, let's go this way. And they encourage others to do wrong, and the people that followed them. So, the Mufassirin write that this conversation here, or even the people who are the weak, the du'afa, the people, the followers, even they will know that, or even they don't know, but when they talk to the leaders, Now this is a spiritual torture, not torture, but punishment, because physical punishment they're getting. But when these people, they are asked, now help us now, you told us in the dunya that everything will be okay, you get people over here, look, do this, and I'll take your punishment in the hereafter. There are times in the times of Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam also, when certain people said, you do this job, you go and try to humiliate Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, and I'll take your weight on the day of Qiyamah. So these things happen even now. They say, for those who don't believe or those who are on the wrong path, but they'll say, so this will be for them a spiritual punishment, that the embarrassment that they will feel, that we put these people into trouble, and we can't. The answer we have to give is a no. So embarrassment and happiness and these things, like all the names of Jannah, just by name. So in here we know, we see fruits over here, the same fruits we hear in paradise, but the only relevance is the name. Otherwise, they're both things are both apart. Likewise, we hear embarrassment over here. Embarrassment, a person feels, goes already everything, but that will magnify also. So the amount of embarrassment, like these names of Allah Subhanahu wa Taala, the name is same, but the effect of both things is miles apart. Likewise, the punishments we hear, maybe burning, but the effects of these things are both miles apart. So that embarrassment a person feels there, that will be much greater than the embarrassment a person can feel over here. So they'll say, look, we can't help. So that conversation will conclude. The next conversation, the shaitan, he will preempt. So shaitan, he will hold a press conference. And he will say, وَقَالَ الشَّيْطَانِ. The shaitan will say, لَمَّا قُضِيَ الْأَمْرُ. When things are decided, إِنَّ اللَّهَ وَعَدَكُمْ. So people are, because in the mahshar, a time will come when Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam will intercede on behalf of the mu'mineen. So the wrongdoers will say, look, those people followed Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. He interceded and they benefited. The one we followed, let's go to him now. So that will place over there. So now in Jahannam now, he is going to know that this is going to happen. They've come to the leaders, it's not worked out, they're going to come to me. So he is going to say, look, in the and the other thing, Maulana Sahib, Imam Sahib yesterday, the Ramzan thing, he mentioned about how Shaitan, Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam is a muallim and he is a muballigh, but not a hadi if we're talking about Istar al Mutlu. And Shaitan is mughbi, he leads astray, he just gives you bad reports, misreports, bad information, stupid ideas. He is muzayyin. He beautifies the path, but he does not lead astray. He can't push you there. That's your own thing. So Shaitan will say the same thing on the day of Qiyamah. Inna Allah ba'dakum. Allah Tabarak wa Ta'ala promised wa'ad al-haq. Inshallah, I'm going to finish now in 2-3 minutes. Wa'ad al-haq, a true promise. Wa wa'adtukum, and I made promises also. But I'm a liar. Fa akhlaftukum. I went against my promises. وَمَا كَانَ لِي عَلَيْكُم مِّن سُلْطَانٍ. I had no authority over you. Either in terms of power, I could not force you, or sultan in terms of proof. I had no proof of what I said. I just said it. I made it sound nice, and you followed. إِلَّا أَن دَعَوْتُكُمْ. All it was, I invited you, فَاسْتَجَبْتُمْ لِي, and you accepted the invitation. فَلَا تَلُومُونِي وَلُومُوا أَنفُسَكُمْ. Because you had your own authority, your own power, you could have disobeyed me, you could have obeyed me, you could have taken my advice, not taken my advice. So that was on your own accord. I just said it, I just presented it, you took it. So now don't blame me now, blame yourself. Ma ana musrikikum wa ma antum musrikhi. Now today I can't help you, you can't help me. Today we are all in trouble. I am to no avail to you, you are no avail to me. Inni kafartu bima ashraktumuni min qabl. And and you should treat me as though I am, because when a person disobeys Allah and he obeys shaitan, really, not shirk in the shirk sense of the word, but it's a level of shirk. So he said that all that you did there, I'm independent of that. That's not my fault. So I have no responsibility for that whatsoever. Inna الظالمين لهم عذاب أليم. And the person who does wrong, because our life also, our body also is an amana. If we're doing wrong, we're going against the amana. So zalim person. So those people on the day of Qiyamah lahum azabun alim, they will have punishment. So therefore, in both cases, those people who have any hope on that day, that hope will be shattered. So these conversations will take place that day. So we need to make sure al-mar'u ala dini khalilihi. A person is on the path of his friend. فَلْيَنْظُرْ أَحَدُكُمْ مَنْ يُخَالِلُ. A person should see who he makes his friend. That's why in the dunya we need to make sure our friendship is the current friendship. A person can say, once his youngster was saying to me, so I told him, actually the hadith says that the person is on the deen of his friend. So you can say how strong you are, I will be influenced. No. When the hadith said that the person is on the deen of his friend, you can be strong as you want. That friend will influence you. So therefore, we need to make our friendships those are pious, not friendships those that will lead us astray. On the day of Qiyamah, all friendships will finish. All friendships will become enemies of each other, except the muttaqeen. So Allah gives us the tawfiq to practice and act upon, understand what these words and put them into our life, inshallah. Allah gives us